Hey everyone, Shabby Game here, and welcome to a quick video here regarding our King of Carnage tournament. Now, basically, as I've said before, myself and PJ Tovey have been paying attention to how the rosters have been working, and we've also been paying attention to some of your comments as well. And what we've decided is that the King of Carnage tournament so far, I think, has actually been quite a big success. And what it's made myself and PJ Tovey realise is that the hardcore divisions on both Throwdown and Mayhem are a little bit lost, really, in the grand scheme of things. So what we have done is we have now created Carnage as our 5th SWE brand. I know that's a lot of brands, isn't it? So 5th SWE brand is going to be Carnage. I've had a bit of a fiddle with it, managed to get it to work on a separate save file, so we're not limited too much on cores on this one. And basically there's a few people moving from Mayhem and Throwdown, and Octane and Adrenaline as well. All those people will be replaced by new cores over the next coming weeks. So it's going to be a pretty big, nice mix-up for everyone involved. It's going to mean we can strengthen our rosters and basically sort of improve on what we've learned over the last couple of months since Season 2 began. So, enough with the that. Let's have a quick look now at the Carnage brand itself. We're going to have 5 championships on Carnage. I've got the Carnage Championship, which of course will be determined this evening when we actually upload the video, which will be our first episode of Carnage. And that will have the final of the King Carnage tournament. Of course, Jay Briscoe versus Mil Muertes fighting for that Carnage Championship. We are also going to have a Universal Championship moving forward. The Carnage Women's Championship, which is going to be determined in a separate tournament, which is coming up over the next week or two. The Carnage Tag Team Championships, and also the Carnage Ultra-Violent / Hardcore Championship, which of course is going to be where quite a chunk of our roster is going to be. Talking of the roster, let's have a gander. And I'll try and talk you through some of these people, the ones that are not obviously that obvious. So starting off here with Abdullah Kobayashi. He is a deathmatch wrestler from BJW, Big Japan Wrestling. And he is going to definitely be part of our ultra-violent part of the company. We've got Abdullah the Butcher. Of course, I'm assuming that's where Abdullah Kobayashi got his name from, to be honest with you. Of course, deathmatch wrestler from the 90s. Still wrestling through 2000s, I think. And again, a deathmatch wrestler. Aerostar, this is sort of playing off the old ECW thing that they used to do, where they used to bring through a lot of the young Mexican talent to really show the rest of the world what there is available, and I thought it was a great opportunity to get Aerostar on one of our rosters. Al Snow, of course, ECW original. Alberto Del Rio, this is going to make sense, honestly. He is going to be part of the LAX stable here in Carnage, but we'll get into that a little bit later. Alexander Wolf, of course, you've seen that Eric Young was in the tournament, and Alexander Wolf is also going to be part of Sanity. Awesome Kong, a nice, big, powerful lady to really strengthen the women's division. Bam Bam Bigelow, of course, the current Mayhem Hardcore Champion. Big Dick Dudley, just an ECW original again. Blue Meanie, again, ECW original. Braun Strowman. Now, a lot of you people have been commenting the fact that Braun Strowman was not involved in the King Carnage tournament, and how he would have really thrived in there. So here he is, Carnage roster. He is going to be the man who I think is going to have to be held back, I think, because he's going to dominate this. I really, really think he's going to dominate this brand. Bray Wyatt, of course, just suits it quite nicely, I think. Brian Pillman, Bruiser Brody, again, an 80s and 90s. Was he in the 90s? I don't know. He was murdered, wasn't he? Hardcore wrestler. Bubba Ray Dudley. Cactus Jack, of course. Chris Dandido, a ECW original. Chris Hero, I think, suits us quite well. It's going to be a sort of strong style / hardcore brand, so definitely Chris Hero suits it nicely. Christina Von Eerie, again, just a gimmick. Crazy Mary Dobson, of course, one part of the Mae Young Classic. What's that? I think her name's Sarah Dobson now in the Mae Young Classic, but she's going to be here in our women's division. Devon Dudley, of course, completing the Dudley Boys. Daisuke Sekimoto is a strong style wrestler from Big Japan Wrestling as well, so I think he's going to be a cracking competitor for someone like Taz, maybe. Dean Ambrose, please just ignore the championships. Obviously, I've completely forgotten to vacate those. But Dean Ambrose is going to be one of our main eventers here. Eric Young, still spelled incorrectly, and of course the leader of the Sanity stable. Got Haku, who is genuinely one of the hardest men in wrestling, and definitely, again, another great part of our hardcore division. Hayabusa, a Japanese deathmatch wrestler as well. I watched a Hayabusa versus Sabu match in Big Japan Pro Wrestling. That was really good, that was. Hernandez, obviously the muscle of the LAX stable. Hollywood Nova, another member of the BWO. Got Homicide, another member of the LAX stable, of course, alongside Hernandez in the tag team. Io Shirai recently signed with NXT, but now she's going to be part of a women's division here as well. Jack Jester from ICW. Does a lot of hardcore matches back there. Jackie Numizawa. He is, of course, from Big Japan Wrestling as well, and has also competed in quite a few of the Combat Zone Wrestling Tournament of Death over the years. He is a full-on deathmatch wrestler, and that's where he's going to be utilised. Jay Briscoe, of course, we all know who Jay Briscoe is. Jazz, ECW original female. Jerry Lynn, again, another man who's been around everywhere, basically, isn't he? WCW, ECW, WWE, TNA, everywhere. Jimmy Havoc, English deathmatch wrestler, current holder of the Combat Zone Wrestling Tournament of Death. He won it this year. Jun Kasai, another deathmatch wrestler from BJW, again, has also competed in several Tournament of Deaths over in Combat Zone Wrestling, which is where I know him from. Just Incredible, of course, ECW and WWE. Hoovy has finally found himself a new brand. Of course, after being kicked out of Octane not too long ago, now Hoovy is going to be part of our Carnage brand. Kairi Hoyo, mainly because we haven't got anywhere else to put her. So I thought this would be a great opportunity for her to show what she's got, and then maybe one of the other brands can fight out to try and bring her over there. But of course, she is one of the main ladies, potentially in NXT over the next year, I think. Ken Shamrock, just a natural hard man, I suppose. Killian Dane is not going to be utilised as part of the tag team alongside Alexander Wolf. He's going to be utilised as an upper mid-card. We'll discuss that a little bit later on. He is going to be definitely a very effective member of our roster. We've got Conan, who's going to be the leader of LAX. La Parca, just to add a bit more Latin American feel to the brand. We've got Lance Storm, who's also going to be, of course, he's an ECW original. We've got Leatherface. Now, this one might surprise a few of you. Leatherface was actually a gimmick used in Japan in the early 90s. Wrestled the likes of Cactus Jack and Terry Funk over there. Of course, it is based on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but it was actually a wrestling gimmick over there, and I thought it'd be pretty good to have it as part of our hardcore division as well. We've got Manic. Of course, TNA's Manic. I thought it'd be pretty good to have him in here. Mark Briscoe, of course, alongside his brother Jay Briscoe. We've got Masada, deathmatch wrestler from Combat Zone Wrestling. Also actually a pretty good wrestler. Did compete in Ring of Honor in that quite a lot in the mid-2000s before turning mainly to deathmatch wrestling. Matt Tremont, one of the main men in deathmatch wrestling at the moment. Mil Muertes from Lucha Underground, we all know how effective he is. Minoru Suzuki from New Japan Pro Wrestling. Also does a lot of MMA as well, so definitely more of the strong style with him. I don't necessarily think he's going to be that into the hardcore, but if you're just up for a full-on fight, I think Suzuki might be your man. The Necro Butcher, quite iconic across hardcore wrestling, really. I think he's actually had a documentary out on him, didn't he, a couple of years ago. We've got New Jack. You all know New Jack. Nick Gage, a Combat Zone wrestler who spent a bit of time in prison for bank robbery and recently returned. Pentagon Jr., again, we all know who Pentagon is by these times. Lucha Underground, fantastic wrestler and not afraid to use some weaponry. We've got Psychosis to try and give a bit more of the Lucha feel to the brand. We've got Raven. We got Rhino, again spelt incorrectly, but we'll use him quite effectively, I think. Rosemary to strengthen up the women's division. Ruby Riott from NXT, again strengthen up the women's division nicely. We've got Mr. Monday Night, or Mr. Friday, I can't remember what it was now, Mr. Monday Night, wasn't it? Rob Van Dam. We've got, of course, the homicidal, genocidal, suicidal Sabu, of course, again, ECW original. The Sandman, again, ECW original. Sawyer Fulton, there we go, that's why. We're going to actually have Sawyer Fulton and Alexander Wolf as a tag team. Killian Dane as a singles, and then Eric Young as the main eventer. I think that's going to be a very good way to go in this, because I don't want to lose Killian Dane in the tag team division. I think he's better than that. So Sawyer Fulton coming in, I think, was definitely a good thing for us. We've got Shane Douglas, ECW original again. Sign Guy Dudley was more or less a manager, really, for the Dudleys, and that's all he'll be used for here. Stevie Richards, of course, part of the BWO, and quite a big member, actually, of WWE after a while. Of course, he led the Right to Censor stable, as well as some other things as well. Sue Young, female wrestler, not afraid to use some weapons. Currently touring around Europe. I believe she's got a few dates in the UK booked as well. Super Crazy, again, ECW original, WWE as well, part of the Mexico stable. Really good Latin American, again, feel to the roster. We've got Tajiri, the Japanese buzzsaw. That's where he made his name over in ECW, and that's where he's going to make his name here as well. We've got, of course, Taz. This is a really good core of Taz. I'm really happy with this one. We've got Terry Funk, a hardcore legend across all the every single roster, really, isn't he? Tommy Dreamer, of course, the owner of House of Hardcore and one of the biggest ECW names. Of course, we've got Vacant. Yeah, just ignore the Vacants. And last but not least, we have got Too Cold Scorpio because PJ Tovey would not stop asking for him. But there we go. That is our entire roster here for Carnage. But now, let's have a quick look at the tag teams we've got. Not many. We have got... we haven't got them. We have got the Briscoe Brothers. We have got the BWO, of course. We've got the Dudley Boys. We've got the Impact Players, Lance Storm and Just Incredible. We've got LAX, which is going to be Hernandez and Homicide, but also Hoovy, Conan, and Alberto Del Rio are in that stable as well. Sanity, Alexander Wolf and Sawyer Fulton, with Killian Dane and Eric Young as backup. And Triple Threat, which is Chris Candido and Shane Douglas, and of course, Bam Bam Bigelow. So that is our roster here for Carnage. I hope you're excited because I really am. And of course, your first episode of Carnage is going to be uploaded very, very soon. So be sure to check that out. A full 7-match card. We're going to crown our first ever Carnage champion. Of course, Mil Muertes versus Jay Briscoe. And we're also going to crown our first ever hardcore champion for the brand as well. To do that, we are going to be consolidating all of our championships together. So basically, Bam Bam Bigelow, the Mayhem Hardcore Champion, will face off against Bruiser Brody, the Throwdown Hardcore Champion. But to put a twist in the tail, Haku is guaranteed a match for the Hardcore Championship of Throwdown. So I've made that match a triple threat. And like I said, that is coming up for you a bit later on. I've been Shabby Gamer. I hope you have enjoyed this. If you have, of course, slap a like and, of course, subscribe because this is going to be epic. And I'll see you all very, very soon for our first episode of Carnage. Bye.